Did you learn anything new from this game about Notre Dame football team in this season? Is there anything new to take away that we didn't know going into this game, or was it kind of just we need to get through this game, win it comfortably, and not have any injuries?
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what happened to Bo Bauer. I mean, what the end result of that looks like. That's a little concerning for me. What did you learn? I think, Mike, as long as Ian Book's back there, the job gets done. It was kind of touch and go early in the game. Again, clunky is the word that comes to mind at the start of the game. But eventually he just asserts himself and does what he needs to do, scores on a touchdown run. Okay, all right, everything's fine. So it's a tremendous, tremendous luxury for us to have Ian Book back there at the helm. Uncharacteristic interception today. I'll take it. He was pushing the ball downfield. It's just, I was again, Mike, thinking of things to talk about during the post-game show as you're watching the game today.
Yeah.
Man, like just take this whole season into account and where we started, all the concerns, all the moaning, all the head scratching, and where we're at today. What a journey it's been, and Ian Book's been central to that. But in most of these games, most of these scenarios with Book at the helm, winning his 30th game today, like last week, I wasn't concerned going into halftime tied up 17-all with UNC. I just wasn't. So that's kind of my big takeaway. We didn't really roll anything out special today on offense. It seemed like we actually took a more conservative approach. We did mix in a few different personnel packages. You tried to get Lindsey involved, and forcibly so, on some of these gadget type end around kind of quick screen, bubble screen things. But no, we didn't really unveil anything different. Didn't learn anything today, really to speak of, Mike.
Yes. I feel like it's a good time to now talk about Ian Book. He was 24 of 37 passing attempts. That was a lot more than I was expecting. 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, and of course he threw the interception into double coverage. It looked like he didn't see that safety over top, and he also ran 8 times for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. So with the win, he's now won 30 games as Notre Dame's starting quarterback, and that passes Brady Quinn, your former teammate, Ron Paulus, who was standing on the sidelines in the NBC broadcast crew was showing him a good bet, and Tom Clements. They all had 29. Man, I will save the question of how will we remember Ian Book 10, 15 years from now. I'll save that question for after he's played his last game in a Notre Dame uniform. So my question now is just how proud of you, or how proud are you of Ian Book for how he's performed this season? And I mean, the dude just carries the offense on his back, and the doubters of this guy have just completely been silenced.
Yeah. Especially with going like I mentioned this earlier, Mike, going back to the beginning of the season as the season was maybe taking off, it was just so many unknowns. You didn't know who was going to catch the ball. You didn't know who was going to run the ball. Only thing we knew was that we had a strong offensive line, and we had a quarterback that had won a lot of games, maybe hadn't done so in supreme fashion in terms of blowing up the stat sheet. So you look at how the season's evolved, and yeah, what's not to be proud of? You've got a 1,000-yard rusher in Kyron Williams who came out of freaking nowhere. And you've got Ian Book, who is sort of being whispered about as a potential Heisman contender, and he did it with a bunch of unknowns. Did it with a Northwestern transfer, a true freshman tight end, and a fifth-year senior who's been on a shelf for 4 years.
Right.
So what's not to like? And he's been a tremendous, in this as a football alum, ex-captain, like he's been a tremendous ambassador of the program, just handles himself the right way. He's such an easy kid to root for. And we've watched him, Mike, overcome his shortcomings.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't grown. He's not 6'4", right? But he cured the happy feet a couple weeks ago. We've seen him. It just, have that confidence that we were looking for so earlier on in the season. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. And awesome's an overused word in today's culture, but it truly has been awesome to watch him develop, take the team on his back, just own the thing, and continue to reap the rewards. And he's not done yet.